WITW 93.5. You're there. It's okay. What were you going to pause? Did you want me to like have a trumpet fanfare as you stopped at the door? I need to be introduced. Please introduce me as Lady Jen entering the room now. And you're listening to WITW 93.5. At some point, I think I hear that song lasting longer. And the boys from the band that's Beyond the Branch.
Behold.
Why do I always want to be beyond the branch? I've moved on from the branch, I guess. And
that's not good. You're supposed to be grafted in.
I know. But yeah, behold the branch. Gosh.
So very own Nate Jones and Shane Evans.
Right, exactly.
Right.
So they told me, hey, that song goes on a lot longer than it should for radio. It just has this like long, slow fade.
But we like that sometimes, depending on the morning.
Yeah, it gets real quiet, but it's like almost inaudible on the radio.
Oh.
So I was trying to jump on it a little bit sooner there. 8:15, it is Testimony Tuesday. We have Justin Savage, who's going to be joining us in just a little bit. And you're doing what with it?
I'm waiting.
Oh, it's Testimony Tuesday. It's Testimony Tuesday. It's Testimony Tuesday. It's Testimony Tuesday. Until somebody comes up with something better. And we've put it out there. We've got a lot of musician friends out there.
We do.
They could easily supplant that. Would not take a whole lot.
Please do.
Would not take a whole lot of effort to knock that one off the theme song mountain. And so Justin's with us this morning. He's going to sort of ease into the process here and join us as we go along, and we'll chat. I do have some good news that I got on email. I left my phone in my pocket, I think.
Okay, I'm going to remind you again when you turn away from the microphone.
I realize that. But I got an email about baby Stella, who a couple weeks after the surgery is just totally back to like being a baby. Great. Being a normal baby, back to daycare, back to getting out with friends.
Daycare?
And yeah.
Wow.
Well, yeah, getting around, bouncing baby girl, she said.
Cool.
So
Power of prayer.
all is, and that's one of the things she passed along was that it was without question the family felt completely lifted up by the community of prayer, and thanks our listeners specifically. So that's quite awesome, and we appreciate all of you all y'all out there lifting up baby Stella.
Yep, we like to hear that good
prayer.
Feedback.
Absolutely. There's good feedback, there's bad feedback. That high piercing like feedback. Right, high piercing feedback when microphones get too close to speakers, not good feedback. Other feedback, good feedback. Tell us what you think one way or another, or tell us what's happening. Tell us when God makes a move that we want to share with others. That can only help but lift everybody up.
Right.
To know that God is there, He is moving, and He's impacting lives. And that's part of what our Testimony Tuesday is about. It's an opportunity for people to share. Where was I? Where did Christ come into my life, and how's my life different? We've had a few, and we've archived them on our website. I did go back to listen to part of mine last week. I didn't listen to the whole thing. It was long.
Oops. Sorry. I didn't. Did I say that out loud?
It went a little longer than I intended. So that's our flow. And then Frank and I have been texting back and forth. We're going to be out at the church tomorrow night. And Frank's going to be there for part because he's got to come back and do the Life Bridge thing tomorrow night. But we're going to be out at Living Faith tomorrow night doing a walkthrough, a live walkthrough, I guess, of our little prayer and worship service that we're going to have out there on Wednesdays.
Is this a dry run?
It's going to be like everything I do. It's going to be sort of just doing
radio,
it. Yeah, exactly.
Life.
We're just going to do it and see what works, and then adjust either on the fly or adjust for the next week, however we see fit. But Frank's going to grace us with Martina. Of course, I call the guitar Matilda, but it is in fact
called
Martina. And play a little bit, and then there'll just be some quiet time, and we'll see how it goes. I'm looking forward to just kind of being in the flow of it. I'll give Randy a buzz and see if he's interested in going out again, and see if Tiny's ready to go out, and then we'll grab a little dinner afterwards, someplace in the
Jimmy's.
Maybe Jimmy's. Maybe try. I was gonna say another place, which is in fact the name of another place in Wanata.
Really?
I think it's called
The Other Place.
The Other Place.
Oh,
yeah.
really? I was joking.
No, I think it is.
That's funny.
Yeah, it's The Other Place, which is in town. Cause
that was kind of witty.
Good morning.
Morning. How's Terry?
And Yes, the other place is there. And then a couple weeks ago, I had.
What do they serve?
I don't know. I haven't
other
been
stuff?
there. Yeah, the other things. The other stuff that's. They may serve the same stuff, but just at another place.
Oh.
Or
Okay.
at the other place. I'm not sure. We'll have to find out. Anyway, so that will be Wednesday night. We'll start at about 5:30 or so. And it will just be informal. There's not going to be, big fanfare when you walk in the room like some people were expecting. I don't know what that
No
was.
drum roll
What
when
was
you
that a
enter the
pause
room.
about? You were like, you stopped like there was something like, wait, I have to change my stride or something. I don't know what it was.
I didn't know if you were on. I was going to come in and ask if Justin wanted. It's Justin, right?
Yeah,
Okay. Make sure, that you had something to drink. I didn't know if
Oh, that
you,
was very
were
kind. I left
rocking the
mine
hostess
someplace.
skills.
Oh.
So, but then I realized it was quiet and I didn't hear music and I just didn't want to
There's
just
that
walk into the
fading
room.
song,
Right.
the long fade out of nothing but the blood. Nothing
Good song.
but the blood. Yeah. When I first heard that song, I kept waiting for it to take off. And I kept waiting for it to take off. And I thought, at some point, these guys are going to kind of unleash.
No,
but
it's
they
mellow.
They restrained themselves for
They
so
did.
long.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Indeed.
It's really cool to hear that sung live at the branch. This is real, like, ethereal experience.
What word was that? Ethereal?
Yeah, I said it right.
I'm not saying you're not. I just don't know what it is.
All right,
I've heard it. I don't
look
know
it
what
up.
it
Google
means.
it.
I don't know if I could spell it. I got a
E
lot of windows open.
T.
I
Haven't heard
IT,
from-
yeah.
What is it?
You don't know how to spell it. It's IT.
Oh, IT. Thank you. Yeah, there you go. Justin's been saving up for just that. He's
Right,
waiting for the
right.
opportunity. Saw the opportunity to take.
He's doing
to
good.
set
he's,
me up.
He's getting it.
That's all right.
Getting the vibe.
Perfect.
He's
We were waiting
jumping.
for everybody to get comfortable here, which should happen for me anytime in the next couple of months. I'll be comfortable here. Oh, I'm okay there. I hadn't
Yeah.
hadn't seen my email. Make
Yeah,
sure,
you were looking for email.
Make sure we were online, and it appears we're okay.
Well, I don't know where my phone is, so I can't get any complaints or praises or information.
Mine just beeped.
But there's your phone.
Yeah, I got to go grab it. So
Oh, all right. So I'm impressed, Justin. You have notes, like you actually prepared.
A little bit.
That's
Yeah.
nice. Good job.
Just a little bit.
A plus.
Oh, Alan Miernick texted this morning to say good morning.
Well, good morning.
Hadn't heard from Alan on text for a while, but I know he stopped by. He dropped off some music for me to listen to and
Right.
see what we have.
I
So,
actually saw him at Jenny's CD release party.
yeah, excellent.
Yep.
And yeah, I haven't been out much. There was something else I had some friends like calling me and say, "Hey, aren't you going to come out and watch the game?" I'm like, "What game?" "Oh yeah, that's right."
We're a little gun shy, like afraid to kind of step out there in the street.
No,
The road.
I did. Like, were you there when I told you I was running back? I had to go I left my notary
Was I
stamp in
there
my
when
car.
you told me? Probably.
When I was telling whoever, I can't remember who I told. But as I got to the corner by the parking lot where my car was and I had a client waiting, I thought I could run across the street. And then I thought,
You
I'm
could.
not going to do that.
All things are permissible. but
Sure.
not all things are good.
Yeah. And so I didn't. And then even when I was running on the sidewalk, I thought, wow, I maybe shouldn't do this. Can't trust myself anymore. Being concrete got reintroduced to each other, and I just don't want it to happen again. So yeah, that was. I had to laugh though. I was standing on the corner laughing, which is always interesting as people drive by. Then and they're they got to be wondering, okay, what's wrong with that
Oh,
guy?
it's that one guy.
Yeah, he's
that
standing
one
there laughing. Last time I
crazy
saw him,
guy.
he was laying in the middle of the street. Yeah,
Yeah, that one guy. You're that one guy.
that laughing guy.
Okay, that was strange. Did you see that? Just a little U-turn right there on the sidewalk.
Oh,
He
Yeah.
forgot something too.
now he's going the other way. So it's supposed to be warm
legal?
today. It's supposed to be very warm today. Like
Yeah, but it's always
81.
cold in here.
Right, and that's
So-
the balance that I have to try to figure out. I was thinking I almost put on a sweater vest, and I thought, no, I'm going to be out running around today, and it is like supposed to be 80 today,
And rain.
and a chance of rain.
Yeah.
Thunderstorms, and where's my weather forecast I was just looking for? Here we go. Chance of showers, thunderstorms after 3 is what it says. Sunny with a high near 76 on this forecast. My phone forecast said, interesting how they all have different forecasts or
I thought you were
slightly
gonna
different forecasts.
Bust into a Reliant K song there for a minute.
Which song was I going to bust into there?
Sunny with a high of
75.
yeah. That one.
scattered showers possible. Isolated thunderstorms developing this afternoon. Near record high. Temperature of 83 is what my phone says. Scattered showers tonight. Low of 43. It's still really cooling off at night, though. And then tomorrow, cloudy and 59. Just a little consistency would be helpful. Wednesday,
It seems to be
Thursday,
a running theme.
Thursday 52.
Really?
What's going on?
Yikes.
Friday, patchy frost.
But what?
Yeah.
Glad I didn't plant those flowers.
You know what? The
It's
thing
too
I keep
soon.
looking at is all the other flowers that are already up.
I know the tulips and lilacs are blooming too.
That's what I just
My
was
two
about to
favorite
say.
flowers.
Somebody had said they cut lilacs, and I'm like, that's Memorial Day. What's happened to our lilac?
Yep.
Everything's being escalated. 65 on Saturday, a chance of thunderstorms and showers on Easter Sunday, with a high near 62. But the Saturday, sunny and 65. Let's hope that weather forecast holds out for our Easter egg hunt on Saturday at Living Faith. We'll be tossing out some eggs for the kids, and we're going to make hot dogs. We figured out. We were planning last night. We're putting the whole thing together because we planned that far in advance. That's just the kind of people we are. We're gonna do some music. We're gonna have some hot dogs and chips and eggs. We've got 1,000 stuffed. We've got more to do, but we'll see where it goes. That'll be at Living Faith on Saturday, starting around 11. So the egg hunt, the whole deal's for everybody, but the egg hunt's for the 12 and under crowd, the spoiled
That seems kind of
crowd.
unfair.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Maybe we'll hold some aside for those that
There might be
whine.
25-year-olds that like shiny, colorful things.
Well, they can have shiny, colorful things. Just don't chase the hubcaps that are going by. But we were thinking about. We were trying to lay out the land of the church there to try to figure out what the best way to go was, and we've not ever done it out there. So this will be experimental egg hunt. Everything's experimental, on the fly, living it out. Hopefully, people will be graceful and just have a good time. So looks like right now the forecast will cooperate with us, and we'll look forward to that. Justin, I'll just give a little background about how Justin's joined us here today, as it's creeping up on 8:30 here at WITW. That's Jen, by the way. I just kind of like blumbled the WITW thing.
And
there.
my name.
And that's Jen.
It's one syllable. Like,
And
didn't even use the whole thing.
what syllable did I leave out?
You just kind of made it two.
What's Jen?
Yeah.
Or that's Jen. I didn't say what's Jen.
That's a
What's
good question. We're not going there.
I saw Brian's car out here.
I see
Convertible.
that.
He's got the top down.
Yep.
But the Z's back.
Oh,
I don't
A
know.
Nissan.
Somebody got a new car, but
what color is it? I didn't
it's
see it
that
out
silver, sleek-looking thing down the way. It's not yours, is it?
No.
there. It's mine.
Yeah. Some new attorney in town, or some new attorney got a new car or something.
Why does it have to be an attorney?
I'm just guessing because there's
Maybe it's an
attorney,
artist.
Attorney, an artist. Okay.
Or a musician?
Right. I bet that's the case.
You never know.
Cars in the shop. Get the loaner Nissan Z.
My Harley's in the shop. That's why I'm rocking the minivan.
Exactly. So a few weeks back, as we've talked about, I think I've mentioned before about the Great Banquet, maybe once or twice.
No. What is that?
So I'm on team for this, and I got to get you Nora's name. I keep forgetting. I got to get Nora's contact information for you
gave me
and
Nora's
for Missy.
name.
I got to get her your phone number, and I got to get Missy the phone number too, because she is going
Good morning,
to help
Missy.
get you
I'm sure
all
she's listening, but I don't have my phone, so I
hooked
can't
up.
communicate. I mean, I can communicate.
Where's your phone? Well, how do you?
I don't know. It's somewhere in my bag, I'm sure.
Gotcha.
Like on the very bottom. The depths of the black hole that it is. So, yeah.
So we were at our team meeting, and as part of the process, those that are going to prepare to speak share their talk with the other team members to for ridicule
Call it
and
a story.
point it out. It's called a talk.
It sounds weird when you call it a talk.
It's called a talk. It's
I
not
don't
a
think so.
speech. It's
I'm going to Google that
we're talking.
when I find my phone.
Yeah. Okay, look at that. And Justin previewed the first night that we met, which is always fun. You know, most people are nervous about standing up in front of a group of people and talking and sharing a pretty intimate story about yourself and with a group of people you don't know, because you know some of the team members, but you don't know others. There's always a mix in there, and you're basically putting yourself up for critique. And oftentimes when we hear the word critique, when we say the word critique or somebody says the word critique to us, we hear criticize, we hear tear apart, and what other negative connotations you can put on the word. But we do it anyway. and you preview your talk, and then they give you feedback. And there's been people who've been on these teams for years, and so they know the general flow of how everything's supposed to go, how the stories have to meld, and that. And there's important criteria in each of the little talks that help build out the whole weekend. And so you're trying to tell your story. You're trying to include this information, and then, like I said, put yourself out in front of everybody for them to tell you what time it is. And so Justin shared his story, and it really struck me. I thought he had great enthusiasm for his talk, and I just said, hey, we do this thing called Testimony Tuesday. And
Hey, we have some time to fill.
Yeah,
you want to come in?
And I said to him, I know you from downtown Valparaiso. I see you walking around downtown Valparaiso on occasion, and most often it's probably like tomorrow, which is the first Wednesday of the month, and it will be, what do they call that thing?
Valpo AM.
Valpo AM, yeah, Valpo AM.
Yep.
Down at the
South Bend Chocolate
Chocolate Factory. I'm pointing.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, everybody can see you pointing.
well, there's a few
They
people,
can.
but not everybody. And so that's the first Wednesday, and it's like a speed networking thing for people to give a 30-second commercial or so about their
It's like
business.
speed dating. That's what it sounds like.
It is
On a
kind of in that
professional
same
level.
in the same vein. But so parking will be challenging tomorrow. Plan ahead,
Oh.
and it's late start Wednesday tomorrow too. So there's all sorts of things that happen with Wednesday. But anyway, so I see Justin walking around town, and then I see him that day at Crown Point, and I say, I know you from someplace, and then we figure it out. And he actually works in Maryville, but lives in Valparaiso with his family, and so coaxed him would be a better word, into joining us here to share his story. So 10 Valpo Naz, right?
Yeah, I do.
And interestingly, I think when I brought it up to you, there was a series going on at Valpo Naz called You or something like that?
What, My Story?
My Story.
Mm-hmm.
You know what it's called. My Story is a much better name than You.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
What? You call me out all the time. I was trying to get Lisa to close the door because I forgot.
Well, you're making like this face at her and going like this.
Well, it's
It's like you're scolding a dog.
my mom face.
Bad dog.
Close the door.
Bad dog. You go back out in the other room.
Sorry,
You don't
Lisa.
come in here. We don't want you in here. You go. Go lie down.
Go now.
Go lie down.
No radio for you.
Oh. So,
boy.
so my story, in the premise of the My Story, one of the things about the My Story message was they kind of bounced around the congregation, and people just kind of stood up and gave a 1 minute.
I mean, just
Human
through a
things.
series of over weeks, different people had a chance to share their story, and I think that's just a powerful way of getting the message across. It's everybody has a story,
Yeah.
So that's why I had the opportunity to be here today. I said, hey, thank you. I appreciate it. I love Jesus with all my heart, and I love telling people what He's done for me, and so I appreciate the opportunity to be here.
I could tell, and that was one of the things that sort of jumped out at me. There was a great enthusiasm. The talk he's giving is early in the weekend, and they just had a great enthusiasm for sharing his story, and gave a presentation of the talk that was just a totally different angle than I had heard before, and it just struck me. And like you said, I think there's no lack of willingness to share your love for Christ, and so I thought, well, that might be a good guy to get on the radio and share the story. That's part of what we're trying to do with Testimony Tuesday. I already did the song, right? Or do I need to do it again?
You didn't do the song.
Oh,
yet.
I didn't. It's Testimony Tuesday. It's Testimony Tuesday. It's Testimony Tuesday. It's Testimony Tuesday.
Sucker.
So, what's that? No. But you, so you lived in how long you been in Valparaiso? Been around here
About
for
8 years ago.
8 years.
That's whenever
Okay.
I moved out. Yep.
Work in Maryville, though.
Yep.
Okay, and you are. What do you do for a living?
I'm a personal wealth advisor.
Personal wealth advisor.
So, yep.
Own company, part of a company, or what's your?
My own company, Wealth Planning Group.
Okay.
Is my company. So, my passion is generational wealth planning for Christian families. Is my passion of what I like working with.
Excellent. And how long have you
So-
been doing that?
This is my 14th year in the business total.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
That's good. And where were you from prior to coming out to Valparaiso?
Maryville most of my life.
Oh, okay.
Or all my life up until that point.
Made the big move east.
Yeah, big. 15,
Loaded up the
20
chuck
minutes on the
wagon,
road, whatever.
rolled it down 30.
A whole
Yep.
new county.
Yeah. They changed the license plate number and everything.
Right.
Yep.
It's a big move. What is that number over there now? I forgot what it
I
is.
don't
Like
know.
49? No, 49's Indy. What is the number over there?
I don't know.
I didn't even know that there was, like
64,
a,
79,
yeah, it's
64.
just not on my radar, RG.
I don't know if anyone cares either.
I get stuck on
45.
those things.
5.
Lake.
5.
Mary, yeah, it's 45. See, you know. Act like you don't know it is 45.
Shh.
Changing the big number.
Well, what is it here, now that you brought it up?
Here it is. Now I'm thinking of Tippecanoe County, which is
Wait, can we see
64.
across-
Today's 64.
anybody across
Porter's
the,
64. It's not as obvious as it used to be. It used to be the first 2 digits of every license plate number. Your home county or your licensed county. It'd be like 2 digits, a letter, and then four digits. So we were 64.
I'm going to go down to Kosciuszko County and get my license plates next time, just to mess you up.
Well, you have to be registered there. They just don't give you a plate. I mean, you have to register in your county No, you
don't.
I think you do.
Oh, you can get your plates anywhere.
Your plates or your license? You can do your license anywhere. Your driver's license, but I don't know about your plates.
Yeah, my mom got her plates in Porter County, and somebody mentioned, wait a minute, I thought it was this number and that number, and
okay.
blah, blah, blah.
All right. Well, if that's worth it for you. I don't know what Kosciuszko.
I don't
Kosciuszko's
know.
not down, by the way. That's
I don't even
east.
know where that is. It's just-
Kosciuszko's
yeah.
down 30,
Did I
a little
say it
further
right?
down. Kosciuszko, I believe so. At least how we pronounce it in Indiana.
Okay.
It's like Pulaski. I think most people don't pronounce
Pulaski.
Pulaski County. Pulaski. What are you looking at me like?
Who says it Pulaski?
Most people in Pulaski
Really?
County? I believe so.
They're wrong.
Or Starkey? Starkey County?
Starkey.
It's not Starkey.
It's Justin's turn to talk
Newtone
now.
County. Anyway, so yeah, kind of jumping in. You've been here for about 8 years. Family. You have a wife and
2 kids.
2 children. How
Yep.
old are they?
So my son Austin is 21 months, and
Oh.
my daughter Joanna is 4 months.
Oh my,
Aw.
young family.
Yeah.
Young family. That'll
We'll pray for you.
that'll change your sleep habits a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
It changes your priorities, certainly. I think that's the other thing that it does. It changes your time and where your time spent. It just you can't help but do that. So
Right.
yeah, excellent. So talk to us about your maybe upbringing through the church. Were you active in church when you were younger, or where were you at in that situation?
All I remember, I don't remember much. My story kind of starts back when I was around 6 years old. That's about how far back my memory goes. And we went to a church in the Maryville area, and I wouldn't necessarily say it was a good experience for me. For me personally, I mean, I didn't really understand it. There wasn't like I really, accepted Jesus in my heart. I just knew it was this place that we went to, and quite frankly, no offense to the church, right? It was kind of boring, and
Yeah.
I thought
Well,
it
you were
was pretty
six.
strict, and it was religious.
You got to get dressed up, and you got to go out
right.
on
I
a
was
Sunday
like,
morning, right?
Always dressed up. I remember I had
Missing
my
the cartoons.
my little clip-on tie. I always had a little clip-on
Oh, really?
tie.
Nice.
It was always, all I remember, I was hot, bored, tired. I had a little clip-on tie digging into my neck. I just remember,
Church in a
up and
nutshell
down on my
for kids.
knees. And,
Right.
yeah, and I just didn't really understand it. My favorite part was the weekly bread and juice snack was what
Red juice snack, yeah. Awesome.
was I don't know. That's what I look forward to most, I guess. But it's not like I really understood it at the time, and so I just remember just going there for a little while, and then not much longer after that, which kind of is probably one of the biggest parts of the beginning of my story. If you want me to just start sharing
good.
here. Yeah, it was when I was 6 years old. One of the, unfortunately, one of the only memories I have of my father was there was one night, my dad and my mom, they went out and to go have a good time, and I think they went to Stardust Bowling Alley in Maryville there, and it's not like my dad was normally a big alcoholic or anything. There was just kind of a fluke moment. I think Satan entered him, and there was they kind of got in a fight there, and something along the lines of, I think he was seeing some lady flirting with some other guy, and he's thinking, if I wasn't here, that that'd probably be you doing that or something. She's like, what are you talking about? And whatever. And so it just kind of escalated into this fight that they had, and started out in the parking lot there. And then, I put her in the car and drove her back home to, the house in Maryville. And this is probably the most, traumatic. It's not like I've seen this personally, but I do kind of have this visual burned into my brain of, when he got home and he took my mother, which, I love my mother more than I just can't even explain. She's just such a beautiful, wonderful person, and so he took her out of the car and he threw her onto the driveway, and this is in the middle of the night sometime, and I don't know if it was an hour or a couple hours or whatever. It's literally by the grace of God that she lived through it. Him sitting on top of her, punching her in the face over and over and over, and grabbing her hair and slamming the back of her head onto the concrete, and she just laying there, bloodied and helpless and everything. And then I don't know. Then after a while, he took her inside and put her in bed, and and I was already there. I guess whatever, babysitter was gone or whatever, and so I remember, my dad, just imagine me being a 6-year-old child. My father walks down. I don't know if it's 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. or whatever, and walks into my room, and he's crying, and he's all startled and shaken, and he didn't say anything, and I'm just like trying to wake up and just wondering. You look at your dad there, and like, what in the world is going on? I just didn't get it, and he took me into their bedroom, and he took me alongside the bed, and he like, showed me my mom. And I looked there at my mom. I see, a lot of her hair was just ripped out, and she's just laying there bloody and just couldn't move. And so my mother, I was saying, what was the most just beautiful, just wonderful person out there. And you couldn't, I literally almost couldn't recognize that she was a human being. I just seen these two big purple sacks over her eyes. You literally couldn't see her eyeballs because it was just so swollen and everything. And that was it, and I just remember that experience, and it was just so traumatic. And then so it was not long after that that they ended up getting divorced, and I later found, I guess my dad was cheating on her and stuff, and so I never knew, I never seen much or knew much of any that going on before that, but it was just kind of that moment was a big turning point in my life, I guess, because it kind of went back to about as far as I can remember, and then it was this this horrible experience. And then when I got divorced, unfortunately, so back to going to the church, that particular church, it didn't it didn't accept my mom very well, and we kind of gave it a shot, and it was very harsh and critical and judgmental, and gave her a really hard time of what a sin, for her to be, getting divorced and all this. And it's like, and we just couldn't take it, and just weren't really getting treated how we should be treated and everything. And so I'll never forget, the words when she just said, "We're not going to church here anymore." And so I remember her saying that, we're not going to church here anymore. And then, fast forward, the next 14 years of my life, I just kind of went on living without any idea of God's love and mercy, and really who Jesus was and what he did for us. It just wasn't part of our life. We just never really found another church or got back into it or anything. And it's, it's not like we wouldn't pray, and we wouldn't read the Bible, and we wouldn't go to church, and, but it's not like, there was a totally sin-filled life or anything. We were just normal, normal family or normal kids that just kind of grew up, just normal kid, and that was it. And then, so I mean, there's not much more to my story besides, there was one moment I remember, unfortunately I didn't really have much good Christian influence in my life, because of that. And, all I remember, one thing I do remember is being a child was, the what the most of the influence I got was from like the older males in my life of my dad, my uncles, my brother, my grandpas. It just everything was wrapped around just total hardcore just racism. It's like I just remember, like black people being so bad, and and it's just like that's all I heard from them specifically, and I guess they got it from I don't know, whatever their environment, or but I remember one time I went to the grocery store with my mom, and she just ran in real quick, and when I was sitting in the car by myself, and I was just out there people watching, and then I seen this, I just seen some black lady walk out of the store, and I remember, and this was when I was like 11, maybe, 11, maybe 12, something like that, and just looking at her going, look at that black, I'm saying this to myself, look at that black person, I bet they stole something, they're dirty people, I hate them, what? And it's just like, all this anger, and it was just so weird, and it just, I don't know, it's like, that's what was like bred into me, and I was, saying all this stuff and everything, but then by the time like we got home, I remember going to my room, and even though really God, wasn't a big part of my life, whatever, I dropped to my knees, and I just cried out to God, because I had all these other influences in my life tell me that this is what you should believe and do, and I just knew it was so wrong, it was so bad and so stupid, and I just didn't. I just knew in my heart, I was like, I don't know, God, even though I don't know you or pray to you or anything, please forgive me for this, and I don't know, that was just one moment along the way in my journey, and thank God he has freed me of that, and helped me get past any of those negative feelings. So continuing on, I guess to the next phase of my story was when I was, after I graduated high school, I became a personal trainer for just a little while after high school. I thought, I love helping people. I love working out. It clicked one day. I go, well, I can help people work out. And I go, what a great job for me. Yeah. And so I just remember being a personal trainer, and that was kind of like my first job that I, was out, on my own and working and getting started, as an adult, as, being, 18 or whatever it was. And I just, I don't know, I just think it was long enough that Jesus started tugging at my heart, and I just knew that, there had to be a God. I always just thought, logically speaking, someone had to build the world. There has to be some reason that we're here. There's got to be some purpose. I may not understand it. I may not have practiced it or whatever. I just, logically speaking, I knew there was, and I just started feeling, very guided. And I always thought kind of the creation of the world would be the same as if you said Webster's dictionary was the result of an explosion in a print factory, boom, boom, and then everything lands into perfect order. Like
that's great.
It's a great visual.
Yeah,
and so
great.
I was like, okay,
yeah,
I may not get it, may not understand it, but there's got to be God out there,
right?
And so, and I always knew, like, well, gosh, I should learn about God. I probably should go to church, or I'm sure it'd be good to read the Bible or whatever, right? And honestly, at the time when I was about 18, I just thought, like, this is probably the stupidest thing I can ever think in my life is I always thought maybe when I'm like 70. I don't know. I just thought I just remember that my one little visual of church, like, it was kind of like a lot of older people, and I just thought, you're like, you go there to cram for the final exam or whatever, like that was kind of what I thought it was for. And so I thought, maybe when I'm 70, and gosh, thank you, God, for slapping some sense into my brain, And so I just kind of, I was starting to get opened up to it. And then at the time when I was transitioning from, being a personal trainer into getting into the financial industry, my first company I worked with, we always had a lot of conferences and everything, and we would go there. And so fortunately there was some, one of the men I give greatest credit to, I had him speak in my wedding and everything. His name was Greg, and it's being one of my spiritual mentors, and thank God he he eased me into it. You know, he always just talked about certain principles of, you know, stuff like, you know, what goes around comes around, and you know, your faith has got to be bigger than your fear, and you know, if you're having issues in your life, you got to talk to the man upstairs about it. You know, and he would just kind of easing me into it, and because at that time, if someone would have came up to me and hit me over the head with the Bible and said, "You don't go to church, you better start reading the Bible," and it's like I would have ran in the opposite direction as fast as I possibly could have,
Right.
you know, and so just thankfully I was just very kind of eased into that, and then I just wanted to be a good person, and I just bought into that concept of being successful, and I just want to be a good person. And I started wanting to learn about God and everything. So I was kind of getting opened up to the idea, and it was pretty cool. I had the guy who was one of my best friend, my best man in my wedding, and his name's Adam, and he had a free week pass to the Omni Health Club in 41 in Cherville.
Oh, sure.
And so like they gave him, you know, here's one for you and a friend or whatever. And so like, and I actually used it, and I don't know why, but it was like a Saturday at midnight that I'm there working out, and I'm on the bike, you know, working out, and then there's this good man of God, and his name was Dean, you know, on the treadmill next to me. He's probably about 50 years old or so, and just started talking to him, just like, you know, whatever I would with anyone else, and I just remember him. Yeah, I don't know. Somehow he mentioned something about his church, you know, and then like, you know, anybody would saying, "Oh yeah, babe, you ever want to go? You know, you're welcome to come out and visit sometime." And I remember telling them like, "Hey, you know what? You don't have to sell it to me or anything." I said, "I'm actually kind of curious." You know, I said I wouldn't mind. I probably should go and everything. And so.
And you were nowhere near 70?
And I was nowhere near
Wow.
70. I was still like 18, I think it was. Or,
Well, he
you
was
know.
a little closer to 70 though, so.
Yeah, he was a little closer. So I was, you know, 18, maybe 19, whatever. And then, he said, "Hey, if you want to go, you know, it was Armitage Baptist Church way out in the heart of Chicago. It's somewhere." And, you know, and he said, "Just this is the way that I go." He said, "Meet me off of, you know, 159th Street or whatever it was." And at this time, and so I literally 7 hours later,
Right.
this guy that I never met before.
Right.
He said, and I go, "Okay, well, let's go." You know, and I, you know, went home, slept a little bit, showered, and I got back on the road and went to that spot, and I seen him drive by, and I followed him, and it was whatever, hour and a half drive or whatever to the heart of Chicago somewhere. And now keep in mind, my only perception of church was it was very strict, very boring. I don't remember much lovey-dovey feeling there,
Right.
you know, and it was just, and so I went there, and it was just such an awesome environment. I was like, everyone here is really friendly, and it's just this nice environment. They got good music playing, and I feel good. And the pastor, I can actually understand what he was saying, and he was talking about stuff that related to your everyday life, and I just loved it. And I remember afterwards I was going out to lunch with the guy Dean that, you know, invited me, and I'm, you know, I heard him talking about, you know, the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit, and there's God and Jesus, and I'm like trying to put this together. I'm like, so wait, which one's which, or how does this work, or whatever? And I remember we're sitting out at breakfast, and you know, he's buttering his toast, and there was like a full stick of butter there, and he's like, "Well, put it this way. So see the stick of butter. So let's say that this is God." And I'm like, "Okay." And then he like butters his next feet, and he takes off a slice of that butter to put it on his bread, and he takes off the slice and he goes, "This is Jesus." And he put it on his bread and put it on the bread, and we're gonna eat it. And I was just like, "Okay, I don't know." And I was like starting to get it a little bit, you know. It's I don't know, but I just remember that, and then it's weird, you know, no one in my family really had any influence on me going or anything, and just by myself. And this guy I met at the health club one time, and thank God he opened his mouth.
Right.
Thank God he shared that, and he wasn't afraid to mention that to me, you know, make that invite. And gosh, thank you. So anyway, so about the next 5 months, like every Sunday,
Really?
I drove like an hour and a half
Hermitage.
drive way out to in the church, and that was there in one of those services that, you know, I said, "Hey, I'm still learning. I'm still trying to put this all together, but I'm going to trust and have faith." And I handed my heart over to Jesus, and that's where I accepted Christ as my Savior.
Awesome.
And it's pretty cool. I went there just a couple years ago with my wife. We were in the her sister lives out in the city, and we drove by there, and I walked up to the doorsteps. It was just sometime during the week, or whatever, and so it was closed. The doors were locked, and I just went up there, and I just touched those doors, and I just looked inside there, and I just bawled like a little baby. I just could not hold back the tears of going back to that moment and really understanding, looking at now and how much, Jesus has done for me, and to think like, wow, that's kind of where it started. That's where I really accepted it. And I just can't even explain how that feeling, so I love encouraging people. My favorite conversation I have with people, that's why I'm here. I'm like so honored that I get to share this, is what was your moment,
Yeah.
Where did you accept Christ? How did you accept Christ? If you haven't yet, if you're listening to this, it's quite a moment, right?
Absolutely.
So anyways, I just continuing on, do I need to shut up yet, or
No,
just kind of keep going?
Yeah,
All right.
you're good.
I just continue on. I thought, well, this is a long drive. if I do, I kind of get it now. If I ever find a church that's a little closer, I'm open to checking that out too, or whatever. And I remember by my old office where that was located. It was kind of over by the Polo Club apartments, and I went to Summerwood and all that. There was like a little banquet room in there, and I walked past her one time, and I seen a bunch of people, and all friendly and happy and having a good time. And I was like, "Hey, you guys got a party going on in here?" And they're like, "Yeah, it's kind of party." It's like, "Yeah, you want to come in? We got some food and stuff. You're welcome to sit in or whatever." I'm like, "Sure, okay." And so I went in. It was the life group meeting. It was from the people that lived in this area that went to Family Harvest Church out in Tinley Park.
Oh, okay.
And so I sat in with them, and I just had such a good feeling with these people. It's like, wow, there's these people that have such a heart for God, and I went to attended that a few times, and there was thankfully someone invited me, said, well, why don't you come out and check out the church? And so I ended up going there for about became a member there, and went there for 3 years, and that was a 40-minute drive.
Yeah,
and,
a little shorter.
And so then that's each church is so special to me that Armitage Baptist Church was. They're all a Christian church to me, by the way, too. I don't. People ask me, "Are you
what denomination?"
Right,
I'm
yeah,
like,
whatever.
I don't know. I'm like, I go to it's a Nazarene church. I'm like, it's a Christian church.
Yeah.
I don't notice a huge difference. I mean, as long as they're teaching out of the Bible and have the foundational truths of the Bible, that's what I want. And so anyway, so at Family Harvest, that's where I got baptized there, and so that was a special thing for me, and I always thought, well, and at the time when I was moving to Valparaiso, I said if I I'm already a 40-minute drive, right? And then I don't like to drive a lot, I guess. So. And I said I'm moving 30 minutes further east. I said if I maybe I'll start looking for a church around here, and I just visited a few, and thankfully there was Scott and Diane Colvin. They're friends of mine from the health club that they went to Valpo Naz, and they said, hey, if you want to come check out our church, and thank God, thank God for people that actually invite people to church, and so I just started going around. I just kind of went there a few times, and I went there a few more times, and then next thing I know, I go, wow, I guess this is kind of where I go, and that was around 8 years ago or so, and that's so now Valparaiso Nazarene Church, that's my home church, and I love it, and that's where my wife started going there with me, when we were just first started dating, and she started going there, and she fell in love with it as well, and I wouldn't, I don't know, it's just the right place for me, and so just throughout the years now, I've just continued to learn and grow a little closer with Christ, and unfortunately, I remember my first few years there. I just kind of did the walk in Sunday morning and then
Punch the clock.
Punch the clock and just kind of sit there and listen to the message and say, okay, cool, great, and leave and come back next Sunday and just sit in the chair, and then I realized that's that's not exactly what church is all about. I mean, I mean that's a part of it, but we're supposed to maybe participate a little bit more, and there's so much more that it has to offer, and all that. And so, thankfully, my wife, she wanted to serve in some capacity at the church, and I remember they had in the gym there, they had it was like a job fair type setup. And they each had little booths, and so there was a couple people at each little table, kind of presenting what their ministry was, and it's like, oh, we're the greeter group, and we're part of the choir if you're interested in the choir, these different parts of the church, and so she just has such a heart for kids, and we found, we looked into the children's ministry. So then we spent about 5 years that we worked with the kindergarten through 4th grade group up there, and it's just, gosh, I learned so much too. Miss Sally, she's the kids teacher there. It's all the kids just love her so much, and she does such a great job, and it's so cool to see all these little kids that have such a heart for Jesus, and it's like I just didn't really have that experience, and so that's what kind of one of my greatest desires is to have my kids be able to grow up in a church that loves them and understand what Jesus did for them, and not just make it fun and have them enjoy it, that they want to go. And so they do such a good job of that over there. And so I guess I guess to wrap up now, I mean, just trying to share a little bit about where I was before Christian, how I become a Christian, and a little bit of my life now is I mean, just God is gracious. He's wonderful. He's so amazing. At just times that in my marriage, when there's times were not good, and but we thankfully we both had enough foundation in a Christian foundation that we knew that we needed to go to Christ, and so it's like I know that it's not like in my marriage, it's like I don't want to be two broken pieces that when we're put together we complete each other. It's like we both want to independently become whole with Christ, and then together become one flesh, like God would intend us. And so I mean, I just praise God all the time for what He's done in my marriage, for what He's done. I remember when a few years ago, my mother was going through cancer, and which I think it's amazing, something so horrible as cancer, that I think it could be a good thing too, because I'm just so thankful that my mother that I just love so much. I've already said that a few times. To see her, to start, I let her know. I said, Mom, you did a lot of work on your own, and you went to the hospital and got some treatments and all this, but I'm like, that's Jesus that healed you, and I think she gets that, and I'm just so thankful for what He did there, that she recovered so well, and she's made it through cancer, and then probably most recently, one of the ways that God's worked in my life is, we had our son Austin, and what a joy that little boy is in my life, and but he's a handful too. I'm sure there's people that are parents listening.
Well, you said he's a boy.
He's a boy. Yeah.
That's the disclaimer
That's
right
the Latin
there.
for handful.
Yeah, and so he's a handful, and then so it's a lot, dealing with small children. So whenever we became pregnant with our daughter Joanna, even though we prayed for it and we were trying for that and hoping for it, and I don't know, I just think Satan started to work on us a little bit, and during that pregnancy in the early stages, just start instilling a little feeling of fear and a little fear of worry, and it's like, we started having some of these things like, oh gosh, was this the right time to do this? I mean, man, life's tough enough now. I mean, how are we gonna, provide for another child and care for this? I mean, and just feeling some of that stress building up and everything, and it was after some of that, and us having these feelings and these discussions and some worry and all that, my wife would still take, I'm sure like any women, they take about 20 more pregnancy tests than they need to, right? So we had a whole supply, and she was taking these tests, and every day the line was fading. And she'd take it again, and it'd fade more. And she'd take it again, and she'd fade more. And she had all the, women know whatever there's certain signs that you, symptoms, everything that your body is pregnant. And she was basically lost. She lost all signs of being pregnant. And then that little line was fading away. And we turned to God. Thank you, God, for giving us the wisdom to turn to you. And we prayed about that and said, Lord, please forgive us for anything that we've said, any worry and doubt, any lack of faith, and Lord, if you can give this baby to us, we promise to dedicate her to you, and we'll give this everything we got, being good parents for her and all that. And RG, Jen, I'm not kidding you. It's like the next day that she started getting signs back, and then she's take the next test, and then the line getting a little darker, and then taking some more tests, and the line getting darker, and then after that, just going through, just a good pregnancy. Yeah. And we delivered a beautiful, precious, healthy, cute, baby girl, November 28th.
A little less of a handful.
A little less of a handful. She's a handful too.
She makes up for it.
And so we literally, and searching for names and everything, we discovered, Joanna means God is gracious. And we literally named her, and I just can't wait. I can't wait till she's a little older and she can understand that what her name means, and that God, that God saved her, and so, I just praise God, for that. It's just so awesome. We just have such an awesome God. Yeah. And so that's why I'm like, I appreciate everything He's done for us, and I just know how much more He has to do in our lives, and so I just love any time that He can use me to be a tool to help reach people or minister to someone or help show love. Just to be able to be the hands and feet of Jesus is something that I always want to do, and I see it. This, when we look for opportunities to serve and to love people, we find them, and I'm doing it. I just literally, these last few days, I've got a friend of mine who, he's a client of mine, a friend of mine who's really struggling in his marriage. And, I use whatever tools I can. I go, hey, here's the movie. I got you the movie Fireproof. And I shared it with him. And he said, you know what? He said, that's me. That's our story. I mean, and here's this guy that was not necessarily living a Christian life. And he's all in, he's all in, ready to do the whole love dare. And I just see it, and I believe it, that, God's using me as a tool to help them in their marriage. And, it's just that's just the most recent example of how God is, working in my life and everything. So, I don't know. I guess probably to finish with this, unless you have any other questions for me, is I remember one of the big lessons I learned in my life and my development and growing and I was trying to figure out my purpose in life, and I read that book, The Purpose-Driven Life. Right. So we probably have all heard of that, and I remember reading that book, and what I got out of it was our purpose in life is truly to come and to know Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior, and to help bring others to come and know Jesus as their Lord and Savior. Right. I think that pretty much sums it up, and so that's me. That's a little bit of my story, and it's not going to stop there. It's just going to keep going any way that I can serve. So,
I think one of the things that you said, and that's really revealed itself in me over the course of the last few months. In fact, we did a study on it, but I think what you just wrapped up with is that, what's that purpose? What are we supposed to do with all this stuff? And it really is reaching out to the next. We've been given a gift to give to somebody else. You might say, we live it to give it. You could say that. You could write a song about it.
You might be able to.
We're actually working on a song. I'll live it to give it. But it's, and when I say working, Frank's the one that's really working on it. I'm listening to it and trying to figure out how not to mess it up. So
Don't sing it.
Thank you. Thank you. But I really think that it's interesting the way that God's revealed that to me. And as I look around and I see that in so many other people, I think there's such a, if that was the first thing you learned, it would turn you off to the whole Christianity. Like you said, at some point, if somebody would have hit you over the head with the Bible, it would have
Exactly.
It would have chased you away. By the way, you're listening to WITW 93.5 LPFM.
Valparaiso.
And I hope the FCC has a little bit of grace, but what the heck. It was in a flow. I'm not going to interrupt it. I'll take the heat if they got heat to bring. But the reality is, I think as you understand this, I think it's the whole banquet experience. And I don't know if you had that as well, but the whole time people are saying, hey, you need to do this, you need to go to this. It's like, well, what are you getting out of this?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that was always my thinking. Well, why is this important to you if it's about me? And what are you getting out of it? And what are you getting out of it? It was a very weird way to sort of flip the table on people. And there's no answer for it. It's not about them. It's about, what God wants to do in us.
Right.
So
Well, there's that transition before you come to Christ fully,
Right.
especially, that you're very self-centered. And once you accept him, once he has hold of you, then you start to slowly become more and more Christ-centered.
Right. Well, and then you want to share it.
Right.
I think that's that thing. It's once you get lit up for it, it is, you want others to know that this gift's there for them too.
Mm.
You truly want to live it to give it. Ding. I'm going to have like a little
Right. I need
copyright sound. Ding. What are you doing with that? What's that thing going to do?
I'm waiting for the next one.
Are you going to make a noise?
Justin's scared.
Yeah. It's
Be afraid.
10 minutes after 9 o'clock on WITW. Justin Savage with us. Thank you, Randy, for reminding me. I didn't introduce Justin in a while. And Jen over there with the crazy thing on her fingers. Hey, Alan. And so Justin sharing his story of faith and how Christ came to him, brought him home, if you will. It's given him new inspiration on how to go forward. And I think that's the exciting thing when you start to see God will put you through things that you can then share with others, because that experience that you have is what's going to relate to somebody else. I couldn't talk to somebody about thermodynamics on a level that they would even listen to me. I couldn't talk to somebody about a real drug addiction because it's not something I've had an issue with. But someone's had that experience, and they can relate to somebody, and they can meet them where they are and show them the way home. And then, ultimately open them up for Christ to do all that work. Anyway, the Holy Spirit to be able to break down those walls, if you will.
Right. I liked that picture that you painted, that your friend Dean painted for you of the butter. God was the butter. And then he took the slice, a piece of him, and put it on the bread and spread it in, and I'm imagining you as the bread. And, he spread Jesus over you. And then you ingested, and so then the Holy Spirit is within you.
Yeah,
That was kind of
that's
cool.
pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Happened to work out that way right at breakfast.
Right.
Yeah,
So
awesome.
next time you butter your bread,
Yeah.
thank Jesus.
Thank Jesus, yeah. And I do think, and it's interesting as you were going through your story, thanking people along the way. And it's really that, as we talk about walking across the room or sharing Jesus without fear, it's what we're called to do, and we need to have comfort in and know that, God will put us where he wants us. People won't necessarily embrace us right away and say, oh, thank you. That's just the message I've been waiting for. I'm coming to Christ immediately. But that's not the plan. It really is a plan that we just play our part. We do our part, and we be who we are supposed to be. And God's got the plan. We just need to live our role in it, and we'll all be able to bring it together. So again, well, thank you, Justin. We appreciate you coming in and sharing, and
Appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah,
Thank you so much.
Awesome, and good luck with the youngsters.
I do have one question.
Sure.
Yes.
Are you making Austin wear a clippy tie?
No. No clippy tie for Austin, for sure.
Yeah. Well, I guess fortunately for kids, church has gotten more casual. There's not
Right.
Yeah.
though, this Sunday people will break out their, Easter best, and they'll be, I don't know, people still wear bonnets. I don't remember if we did the bonnet thing. I know my mom would always try to break out that for my sister, to do the, I had to do the extra special Sunday best for Easter, because that's, the more, I don't know. That was what we did when we were kids. And I'm still sure there's people that do it now.
That's great marketing The fashion industry loves this time of year.
Yep, Easter dresses
Get your Easter hats.
but yeah, I can't remember what we said about Sunday weather forecast wise, but yeah, you break out. It's like that real breakout of spring. Gloves and the hats and the shiny shoes and brightly colored things. So anyway, well, thanks again, Justin. Glad God put our paths together and we had this opportunity to have you on and share and hear your story on a deeper level than the story you shared with us at the preview. So we wrap up our day each day. We wrap up our on-air day to go into the rest of our day.
Right.
In prayer. And as I said, in case you didn't hear earlier, I did get a message from an update on baby Stella, and I'm trying to remember where's my note because I did want to share this.
Well, you're looking for that. I got a text this morning before I lost my phone from Frank. Carol Jenkins has put in a prayer request for, I want to say it's Tucker. Tucker's had a bone marrow transplant that has failed. Oh. And that's kind of all the details that I have. I'm not sure how old Tucker is, but he is a child. So if we could just remember him in our prayers today.
Mm-hmm. There's baby Stella.
Oh, she's so cute. Yeah. Mom's pretty too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
So that's from Sarah this morning.
Oh.
Sarah is a person who, if you don't know, Sarah stopped in one day
in the middle of our show.
Right. Just dropped in and just said she had a prayer request, and she brought us up to speed on a friend of hers who had this baby, Stella, and they had gone out to New York for what they thought was a job situation. It didn't work out. They end up in Nevada and then find out they have to have this surgery. Someplace along the way, they find out they have to have surgery, and they don't have insurance to cover it, and it's going to be this crazy, expensive, and challenging surgery where her
because it was like the brain
plates
surgery.
the plates of her skull had started to fuse too quickly, and so obviously, if you've gone through that, your plates have to, have some flexibility to it and things. This is me, Dr. RG, explaining
right
medical stuff.
That's our disclaimer.
Last week you missed history lessons, and this week it's the medical stuff. So, but anyway, so they'd started to fuse too soon, which is not a good thing when you're still growing and trying to get those things in place. And they had to have this surgery where I don't know what they actually did, but when they showed the initial picture, they had an incision from one side of her head all the way across to the other side of her head, just to loosen the pressure and allow the growth. And but Sarah stopped in and just shared the story, just pulled up right inside, shared the story, and then left and just asked us to pray for them. And
thanks
then,
again, Sarah.
Yeah, and so we've been praying for her and got good news shortly after the surgery, and continues to be good news for baby Stella and family.
You should share that picture on our page.
I should.
You should.
If I can figure out how to do that. And so what she said was, sorry, it's been weeks since I updated you about baby Stella. She had her 2-week recovery and was a bouncing baby girl again.
Awesome.
She returned to daycare and is doing awesome. Thank you so much for all your prayers. Heather, her mom, said she could literally feel the love from friends and family. Prayers near and far. Thank you again. God bless 93.5 FM and all who work to spread the good news. From Sarah.
That's
so
cool.
Awesome to have the opportunity to even know about that opportunity to lend our prayers to the efforts of God there and the efforts of the doctors, God through the doctors and such. So what are you setting up using that goofy thing for?
I'm just playing with it because he's fun too. I don't think
I'm on camera. You never know what you're going to find
so
when you clean. You don't think you're on camera?
Nope, I don't think I'm
on camera.
I think it's just facing Justin, which is okay with me.
Is it?
But you can't see my little fun guy, my little puppet. He's going to become a regular part of the show. I haven't given him a voice yet. I have to figure out what voice he's going to embody. What? Carrot? What?
All right. I said all right.
All right.
Oh, it says please start my... Oh, there it is. Oh, it is.
No, that's okay. We're almost done now, so it's all good. And Justin, this was not about me.
Where did it go? Oh, it's not moving now.
Well, I thought it was just I thought we were using the webcam. On the
wrong camera.
I shouldn't have said anything. Beans and rice. So I'm noticing, RG, that you don't have a smoothie or anything green over there this morning for breakfast.
I don't have anything.
What? There's a banana. And I brought you a kind bar.
There is a banana.
But that's not green.
Banana still has some green in it.
Yeah, it doesn't count.
No, I haven't eaten anything this morning. A tea. I had tea. It's not green tea.
Was it green tea?
No, it wasn't.
I have green tea with me.
No, I had Lipton.
There's
Whatever
an
that is.
organic
Black
tea in
tea.
there.
That scares me.
I told you
That has been
fermented
here
tea
longer
is
than
good
I
for
have
you. It's
been.
called
Yeah.
kombucha.
Yeah. I think they probably have to make it in a special way to make it that way. They don't just leave it in a
Yeah,
jar.
there's a whole process to
Leave
it.
it in a
but
jar for a year and call it fermented.
might work.
But anyway, I don't know what happened to our little camera. Funny.
That's all right.
All right. Well, so we'll wrap our day up in prayer. We continue to pray for Jim Norris as well, who is, haven't seen an update. Let me see if I've heard anything. It's silly. Okay, the new Facebook, by the way, way too confusing for me. Oh. And it hasn't even, like, on the page that I'm looking at now, hasn't converted to that silly, crazy timeline thing. But my pages don't come up as pages anymore.
What do you mean they don't come up as pages?
If I go to the radio station website or web page, whatever you call this thing, Facebook page. This is what it looks like. Oh, I'm going to knock that cup off.
That's kind of weird. That's
Yeah,
like,
and so it's like they call it an admin panel. And I'm sure there's a way to get away from this, but I don't like it. Oh, okay, so I go down here.
if you scroll down,
Yeah, but look at
there's
it.
your page.
Way...
It's a timeline. You have
gosh.
on the left side of the
Oh,
line
stop
and the
trying to
right
explain
side
it.
of the line.
I'm
It's
old.
What's the
it's-
left side and the right side? I'm still trying to get that. I don't have it yet, so I'm thankfully.
Well, it's like a timeline. You remember history class? There's a timeline, but usually they went horizontally, and it had things on sometimes on the top and on the bottom. If you ran out of space on the top, they'd put information like Napoleon conquered whatever at whatever time, and then Constantine did something.
Back to the history lesson, I
And
guess.
then Napoleon. Wait. And
I
then
have no clue.
And then Caesar. And then there was.
I have smart friends for this kind of stuff, so I don't have
Right.
to retain this information.
and then
But
there
the
was
aesthetics, I can explain
Zechariah,
that part.
Yeah.
And Ezekiel said,
Nebuchadnezzar.
I know that story. So then some of it goes on the top and some goes on the bottom, depending on how much room there is. Well, this timeline is vertical. So you have some things on the left side and some things on the right side. Just split the page in half. That's it. It's not that complicated.
But is there a reason why some things are on the left and some things are on the right?
Well, if it gets bumped over, I think
But
it
there's not
starts out on the left.
There's not a reason. I mean, there's not. It's like there's a subject of some things on the right and
No, Facebook isn't that smart.
Okay.
It just
Had a
bumps
few
stuff
people
over.
ask me about the Selah concert.
Selah, you said it right.
I did say it right because
Yay.
no one's asked me about the Selah concert.
That's good.
Tickets are available for that show, and we're happy to be helping Liberty Bible with the word out about that. You can visit our website, and I think I have information on there, or you can visit theirs, lbchurch.org, and tickets are available. That show is next Saturday night.
Wow, already?
Which here's the frightening thing about that. That's the 14th of April, which means again I didn't even
Yikes.
look at taxes yet. And this week
Oh,
after
wait.
sitting through,
I didn't make that connection. Oh, boy. Well, I'm sure I don't know. So there's some grace given to me.
yeah,
I'm saying. I'm
after
thinking.
sitting through our meeting and planning yesterday, nothing is happening this week other than what's on the paper now. So I may have to take a day next week. Well, we get Friday afternoon off, which means I'll be working
This
Friday
Friday.
night again.
Right? This Friday.
This Friday,
Yeah,
right?
good.
So that will be all preparing
That's good
for
because
our
I'm
Easter
traveling.
egg
I
hunt.
won't be here anyway.
Oh, you're heading. Are you coming back? Are you going to be
I'm
in
coming
town?
back,
You're going to bring
yeah.
the kids out for the Easter egg hunt on Saturday?
I don't know.
Oh,
Don't know what we're doing.
we should bring them out.
Taking it one
Have
day
a
at a
little- Some
time.
hot dogs and Easter egg
dogs.
hunts. Easter
Are
eggs.
they kosher?
I probably. I don't know. Donna's buying them, so they'll be good. All right, so the thing I meant to mention a while back is we tripped 200 friends on our, 200 likes. What are we liking? Are we liked? For considering we've done nothing like market the station, it's all been word
That's
of mouth.
not too bad.
200. We
Woot.
tripped 200.
Hands
yeah.
up, Jenny.
Yeah. So that was
I was
fun.
not
We
referring to
appreciate
myself
that.
there. In
Talking
case
to
people
yourself.
didn't were wondering. That
I
was
have to
for
tell
Jenny
myself
Wilson.
to put my hands up. Oh, we have so many Jennies.
It
So
is
many
such a
Jennies in
wonderful
our
name.
little-
That's why.
Okay, so but anyway, so I was looking for something here, and I can find nothing about this. What was I looking? Oh, I was looking to see if there's an update on Mr. Norris on the other page. It appears not.
Oh, is that what you were doing?
I was, and I was
Oh.
distracted by the craziness that is, in fact, this crazy Facebook thing.
Shiny.
Yeah, I don't see any update, but I know he was. When I talked to him last week, he was heading to the doctor, and they were putting together a game plan.
Hey, what's that? Is that your personal page or the radio page?
That's the banquet page.
Oh, okay.
No, my page.
Well, what are the trees?
That's Camp Lawrence.
Oh.
See, I don't know if you can see, but there's a cross right there.
No, I can't see. And I know Justin can't see anything with the back of your screen.
No, it doesn't have his back. It's not like a screen
Oh,
that shows through.
a two-sided monitor. That's a cool idea. How come we don't have those?
You have two set of
Like-
cameras on your phone now.
Share, yeah. Well, not the one I have.
Or don't have,
Or
as the
don't
case
have
would
today. Right.
The
Right.
phone before the one I just had was 8 years old. So
Oh, well, the phone I had
my
before
friends
the
like
one
to
I
make fun of
just
me about that.
have was really cool, and it died. So now I'm on, thanks, Daniel, iPhone -12. I'm marketing that. I'm just, I'm going to copyright that phrase.
be. I don't think you can copyright something
Probably
that's already
not.
copyrighted.
The
You could try, but
-12
it might
part's
be
funny.
it might be a little expensive for no gain. You can just call it that. and
I
then
did.
You'll just enjoy it. All right,
Not
so
really enjoying it, but. So Jim Norris.
Jim Norris, we're praying for him, dealing with. I think they're starting to put together a treatment plan for him and see where it's going to go, and how they're going to take this on. But like I said, trooper that he is, he's more concerned about Holy Week than himself at this point, which is not surprising. But we continue to pray for him and lift him up and offer to help where we can. Pastor down at Boone Grove Christian Church, down in Boone Grove, just out there.
Do you know Doug?
Doug Book. Yeah,
Does
he
he-
knows Doug
Oh,
Book.
I know Doug.
Oh.
Yep.
Doug Book from
I
Buck
imagine that
Creek.
you know Doug,
She,
then.
well, she
No,
doesn't know
I
him,
don't.
but
I
she
love his
knows
town.
of him because I always refer to him as Doug Book from Buck Creek, and she just loves the name of the town, Buck Creek.
It's hilarious. Isn't it not funny? It's funny.
That's pretty funny.
Right.
I just don't, I guess I grew up in it. I don't find the humor in Buck Creek. It's because it's a place. I see the place. It's just it's Buck Creek.
I'm reframing.
That's all there is. I know you are.
Can we pray
And
now?
he's traveling. Actually, he's in Florida now, so with the family having a little vacation time. But anyway, so we'll any other prayer things. So you have Tucker,
Tucker.
we have Jim, we have the praise of Stella, and prayers answered there. And what else do we have out there? I'm trying to think. There's something else that. Oh, where's my note? Tiny. That's what I was trying to remember. Tiny, still dealing with the hip issue.
He is
We're just
pretty
trying
hip.
to- He's a hip guy, but his hipness is wearing out in his hipness, I guess. He's having just can't shake it. Good attitude, still
Just get to
still
the
limping
hippie,
along a
hippie
bit.
shake.
Yeah, I don't think he's doing the hippie shake.
Sorry, Tiny, but that's funny.
Yeah, no, but he's out. It's one of those things. He tells me, "Yeah, I was out doing this," and then I'm like, "Doesn't that bother your hip?" He goes, "Yeah, but I got to get it done.
Right.
Just got to
Well,
get it done."
yeah.
So maybe he was wrestling with God in a dream and didn't realize it and got his hip poked out of place or something. I don't know. Anyway, so we're lifting up Tiny as well, and our friend Randy, who's out there, stopped in and visited us during prayer last week. Then sat in the car the next day because he didn't want to get brought into to the actual thing there. But he's always praying with us, and we're praying for him. Saw a for sale sign up in front of the house this morning when I left. I didn't.
It was a
notice
house,
last
not the
night.
Jeep, right?
Not the Jeep.
Okay.
But the house. And I know that's been a tough decision for him to
Yeah.
try to figure out. And I know he's been working hard to get the house ready for whatever was going to be next. And it looks like next is the sale, putting the house up for sale. So we hope that that goes. If you're looking for a house, there's a little house right there in Northview. You could be my new neighbor.
There you go.
It's not. I don't know if that's a plus to the house value
Oh.
or a minus to the house value.
Yeah, I don't know
Yeah.
what to think about that.
Yeah, it's
Maybe
far
we
enough
should
away.
Not share that.
It's far enough away. It's within sight. It's not necessarily. You don't have to deal with me letting my grass grow too long, which I noticed it is. So anyway, we'll enter some time of prayer. We always give our guests the opportunity. We just do like a round robin praying. If you want to join, if you want to lead us off, whatever your pleasure is on the whole prayer thing.
I'll let you lead the way.
All right.
It's my first. I'm a visitor here.
Yep, we'll pop in however you want. You want to start then? Or?
Sure. Heavenly Father, we come before you this morning, and as always, my heart is grateful. Grateful for my iPhone -12, even, Lord. The little things that sometimes escape us that we take for granted, Father, are rarely lost on me, and for that as well, I am grateful. I thank you so much for the Rices, for the opportunity that we have to be here today, that we can bring people in to share their stories that reflect your love, your grace, your forgiveness, the amazing sacrifice that your Son has made for us. Father, I ask that going forward today, that you would continue to lead us, that you would guide us in such a way that our thoughts, our words, and our actions would be bright, shining reflections for you, for your Son, and your Spirit. I thank you and praise you for each one of the people that are listening today, and I pray that you would touch them in a special way. I lift up Stella. Thank you, and her parents as well. Thank you for the answered prayers. I ask you, Lord, that you would continue to pour into her and her family, that her story would not get lost on the wayside, that it would be remarkable to people who don't know you, that they would wonder and be filled with a sense of awe that such a story could happen, that such a miracle could happen even in today's world, Lord. I just lift up, like I said, all the listeners today, and pray that you would bless them and continue to use us all and make us usable. In your Son's holy name, I pray.
Yeah, Lord, thank you so much for letting me be here and the opportunity to share my story. I just want to praise you, Lord, and thank you. Is all my prayers are always first to just thank you and praise you for being so wonderful for us. And Lord, just thank you again for that. You know, since you died for us, it just it compels me to want to live for you. So I just pray for all of my friends as well that are, you know, struggling in their marriages, and, you know, people with health issues and finances, and the list goes on, Lord. You know what you need to do, and Lord, I just place all those troubles and concerns all in your hands, because we know that, you know, you're the one that can help us and save us and provide for us, and we pray this all in your Son's holy name. We love you so much, Lord.
Heavenly Father, I'm thankful for this opportunity to stop down and just be thankful. You've given us so much. I'm thankful that as I say, the paths that you've crossed with mine, that I'm blessed by those that have come into my life and spent some time in my life or continue to be in my life. Thankful that you brought Justin, that our paths crossed through Banquet, and that he saw fit to be able to come in and share his story. I know that the stories of us coming to you and drawing closer to you and you drawing closer to us are the stories that we need to share to lift up each other, those that know you, and to reach out to those that don't, those that may not think that they're right for you, or they're too far gone, or they're not 70 yet. Whatever reason it is that someone's put a wall between you and them, the wall is just one-sided. I mean, we can pretend like we put something between us, but it's us just insulating us from you. You're right there waiting for us. And with the same gift that everyone before us has received and everyone after us will receive, it's the perfect gift. It is salvation, and it's us being redeemed and being saved and being brought closer to you, so that we might enjoy an eternity together. This difficulty that we may be facing, that each of us might be staring and trying to stare down, but sometimes get worn down by it, is just merely a temporary condition. There's nothing permanent about what happens here. The only permanent is you, and we just need to focus on that. I do lift up Jim, and I continue to be inspired by him. I have been since I've known him, and I know that you have the plan, and I know he's fine with whatever your plan is, and that he is just going to do everything he can where we are now, and to serve you and to honor and glorify you, and let that be where I focus, and know that we don't know why you do the things that you do. We don't know what the plan is beyond the moment that we're in, but we need to have comfort with the fact that you've got this, and you always have, and you always will. And we lift up Tiny, who just keeps moving on, keeps working forward through the pain, and knows that, again, this too will pass. And we lift up Randy, who's waiting and looking and being diligent, watching, and open to where you want him to go next as well. We're so thrilled with all the stuff that happens that maybe we don't know why. It's awesome to see a movement by you in a way that we like to see it happen with baby Stella. And we're excited to see where that young lady goes, and knows that she goes with you, and that those that have been around her not lose that excitement, knowing that you have directed this. This is part of your plan, and we're excited to see where she's going to go with that. We lift all these things and many, many more up to you for both praise and honor. And we thank you for this time through your son's name. Amen.
Amen. I forgot to mention Tucker again.
Oh, I forgot.
And
Tucker.
Jackie's friend Kiefer. I just want to ask
Kiefer,
that you guys
right.
would keep them in mind as well.
Right. I had a note. I don't know what happened to it. I had my notes written here and I had things written down. I think I was grabbing papers to go to my meeting yesterday and grabbed way too many papers than what I need. So Tucker and Kiefer as well. All right. Well, thank you all for coming in. Thanks again, Justin, for coming in and sharing, and appreciate you taking time to do that. And God's blessings to you and your family, and hope everything goes well. Good luck with the handful of a boy, and the girls will get us later as dads. You know what? It's the boys that wear us out soon, and it's the girls who have the long-term impact on us. So good luck with that as we go forward in that together. So thanks for listening, everybody. Hope everybody has a great day. Frank's in tomorrow.
Yep.
And we will talk. We'll talk Frank stuff. Not sure what's on the. We never know really what's on the agenda when he and I sit down and you join us and we just kind of go. So
Yeah, we do.
Just see where God leads us, and then we'll talk a little bit more about some happenings tomorrow night. What we're going to try and do with this on our end, and then see what God does with it. The rest with our prayer and worship. And as I said. Did I say that out loud? We encourage people to come out Saturday.
Yes, you did.
I did say that about inviting, making
Yep.
sure, if you had the capacity and desire to come out. We do invite folks to join us out there Saturday morning at 11 out in Living Faith. And the first go round in this little rodeo. And but what we found, there's not a lot to it. We looked on, Cliff at some point said, let's go on the web and see whatever other people have learned about their egg hunts and stuff. And it's eggs, it's candy, it's grass, and some combination of those things with kids thrown in for fun. So not rocket science. So, but even rocket science, as I think God goes, really? You guys are confused by that? It's so simple. So anyway, hope everybody has a great day. Thanks for listening. And we may see some of you tomorrow. We may see some of you today, but we'll certainly talk with you tomorrow.
Happy Wednesday. Wait,
It's
Tuesday.
Seated above, enthroned in the Father's love, destined to die, poured out for all mankind. God's only